Hey, Matt from the A-Team, and this is 4-Minute Film School. Lighting with lights is easy, but what about lighting with shadows? Today we're going to be shaping our scenes with shadow. Let's check it out. Light and shadow go hand in hand. Every time you create light, you're also creating shadows. Shadows are just the absence of light, where light isn't hitting. More and more cinematographers have been embracing shadows in their work, resulting in darker and moodier visuals. But how do you use shadows intentionally to add depth to your story? Today, we're going to be looking at 3 different ways you can use shadows in your cinematography. Let's go. So the first way of lighting with shadows is by a silhouette. But first, what is a silhouette? It's a dark outline of your talent's figure, and there's a few ways to achieve this. First, we have to establish where our light source is coming from. In our case, we have an opening in our garage with the sun coming through. If we were using this as a key light, we would have Giselle facing the light source and the camera on that same side. The key light, however, is creating a light side and a dark side. And for us to get that silhouette, we have to shoot on the dark side. So now Giselle is facing away from the light source and we position our camera to look towards the dark side. We position Giselle a little too close to our light source. Light is wrapping around his face caused by the bounced light, losing the effect that we're going for. Now we have Giselle positioned far away enough from our light source, but just to be sure we're cutting any amount of extra light, we have 2 floppies set up beside the camera. Silhouetting can be a really cool stylistic choice. So let's check it out. So for our second setup, we're casting shadows onto a face. We have our key light and the background light. For the key light, we're utilizing the 120D Mark II with the Fresnel attachment, along with a layer of CTO. Using a single source light, we're creating hard shadows and sharp edges, which means you can use this technique to really highlight certain parts in the frame. In our case, we're utilizing Giselle's arm to block half of his face, putting that side of his face in shadow, and highlighting the other side of his face, really highlighting his eye. You can really utilize this technique to guide the eye of the audience towards parts of the frame. Next, for our background light, we're actually just utilizing a simple MC light with the same color hue as our key light. And this is just providing some detail in the background, that way he's not hiding in a void of darkness. Then we have 3 floppies to cut any light from spilling onto our set. So let's check it out. Moving on to our last setup, we are casting shadows onto our wall. For that, we are utilizing the 300X with the spotlight attachment, along with a layer of CTO. Using the gobo in our spotlight, we're creating a window shape onto the wall, giving context to our scene, as if this were at the end of the day with some nice golden hour peeking through the window on our set. Additionally, Giselle casts his own shadow onto the background when he steps in front of the window light. Then we set up 2 floppies to cut any light from spilling onto the background coming from our real windows. Casting shadows onto the wall can be a really interesting technique for storytelling. So now, let's take a look. When lighting with shadows, there are 3 things to keep in mind. First, silhouettes work better the farther the subject is from the light source. If the subject is too close to the light, it will wrap around the subject or bounce onto them and ruin the effect. Second, use hard lights when casting shadows onto the face. Hard lights create cleaner shadows with sharp edges and will add drama to your lighting. And third, cast shadows onto the wall for unique storytelling possibilities. Sometimes using less is more, and you can really tell a lot about a character just with their shadow.